Welcome to Plano's Political Pitbull podcast. I am Esther.
And I'm Ruth.
And today we have the results of the 2025 Plano City Council election and a legislative update. First, I'll give you the legislative update. So SB 2, that is the school vouchers bill, was signed by the governor on May the 3rd, 2025, and will go into effect September 1st of this year. There will be enough for 100,000 students to get $10,000 each and go to a school of their parents' choice. Special ed kids and low-income children get first priority. With over 5 million students in Texas public schools, 100,000 students leaving public school, actually it's less than that because a lot of these kids have already left the public school, won't affect anything for the public schools. I would hazard a guess they won't even notice that they're gone. Also, the majority of those 100,000 students are going to be special ed kids because, again, they get first priority. I don't know, you said the other day maybe that'll be good because a lot of schools don't know how to deal with special ed kids.
Yeah, and they're kind of, at least in some schools, when I was student teaching, over flooding the programs for special ed. So it doesn't really help the kids either way because they're not getting the attention they need.
Mm-hmm. So this could be a good thing for the schools. It alleviates pressure on the public schools, and it helps the kids as well. So please, nobody panic, okay? Nothing's going to happen to your public schools, okay? 5 million plus kids, it's 100,000.
It's a drop in the water.
Drop in the bucket. Yeah.
Drop in the bucket, that's what I meant.
Or the ocean, right? Because I guarantee you that half of those kids, let's say 50,000 of them, already go to either a private or a charter school. They're just going to be allowed to get some help right now. Well, moving on. The House passed a meme bill.
A what bill?
A meme bill.
Okay.
I had a feeling you'd get a kick out of this. So, HB 366 is gotten the bad bill of the week award from me. Now, I did give extra points because it's only a page long, but it didn't help in this case. So here's the bill. It applies to a person who is an office holder, candidate, or political committee, makes an expenditure that exceeds $100 for political advertising, publishes, distributes, or broadcasts political advertising described in the next section. A person may not, with the intent to influence an election, knowingly cause to be published, distributed, or broadcast political advertising that includes an image, audio recording, or video recording of an office holder's or candidate's appearance, speech, or conduct that did not occur in reality, including an image, audio recording, or video recording that has been altered using generative artificial intelligence technology, unless the political advertising includes a disclosure that the image, audio recording, or video recording did not occur in reality.
People can't use their common sense. Some things are clearly a joke.
Yeah, so no more altered AI Trump memes, I guess, or Biden memes, I guess, without a disclosure.
Oh my
An
gosh.
offense under this section is a Class A misdemeanor. So, would you like to know how this bill came to the idea of Representative Phelan?
They got the idea from Europe?
No,
Because they're doing that.
no, that wasn't.
Jailing people for making jokes
No,
on the internet. No, they didn't get the idea from them?
no,
Okay.
no. Somebody made a meme of Representative Phelan. This is what I've heard.
Oh,
Okay?
and it hurt his little feelings.
It did. And it was him standing next to Nancy Pelosi. So obviously a little Photoshop, cut and paste Nancy Pelosi standing next to the representative to make it seem like he is in cahoots, I guess. With
They were making a statement that they think that they're the same.
Yeah. Or
freedom of speech.
Right. So it didn't. I guess it didn't hurt his campaign because he won. So he's there, and I guess it hurt his feelings. He didn't like that because that picture's not real. So he wants a disclaimer.
It's no different. It's honestly no different than those old political cartoons that people would make. This is like the new version of that, where it was over dramatized stuff. It wasn't actually factual. It was based in what people believed to be true, but it was over exaggerated.
Yes, but you could see how this could be an issue. I can understand his side of the argument, because if you could take an image and manipulate it, and now you could put somebody in a, shall we say, inappropriate situation in a picture and say, oh my gosh, look what he did. Oh my God.
But people know that. People know that AI exists. People know that Photoshop exists. People know people can do this stuff. People have to use their common sense.
Yes, I mean, question obviously, say, is this a real photo?
You have to question everything on the internet now. Mm-hmm. Nothing could be real.
Exactly.
And people know that.
Right.
Or they should know that.
Yeah. I mean, we see it with the AI, and they're actually making video, or what appears to be videos, of the president, or they could do any politician, but right now the president.
Mostly it's being used for joke videos, like them playing D&D or something.
Yeah. Or singing. They have him singing, President Trump singing, or maybe Ted Cruz.
Really just innocent joke videos.
Again, you could tell sort of that it's fake because the audio is off, the voice is
it's not perfect
off.
Yet.
It's not perfect yet, but eventually it will get there. And, somebody said eventually you are not going to be able to tell what's real and what's been created by computers.
Look, we've always had that issue even before Photoshop existed. I mean, with information on the internet, just with words, okay? No pictures, no video. We've always had that issue of, is this true? That's why they teach in school now how to verify if something is true or not. Verify your sources.
How can you verify that a picture is real? She's thinking, folks.
That's a little more complicated because it's so new.
Mm-hmm. Right. How do you know that? Now, filters are okay, right? He doesn't mind, like, if you want to make them more pretty.
I think with videos and pictures, you just kind of have to use your common sense and also look in other areas if this tracks with past behavior, you know? I mean,
yeah. My worry is that
you've had doctored videos before of like cut clips and all that, things taken out of context and everything.
Yeah. So why I gave this the bad bill is because I feel like this could be misinterpreted to include a kid who wants to make a joke video about, let's say, Donald Trump or the Speaker of the House or the governor, whoever. They want to make a joke video about a governor. Well, could this be used against this kid who, no, he's not a candidate and maybe he's not a member of a political committee, but just made a joke video
that was funny.
That was funny, and now the candidate sees it, or the opponent sees it, or the person who it's about sees it and makes a complaint. Now the police have got to go, and they've got to go to the persons. They got to figure out who made this, track them down. This person's got to come in for questioning. They're going to want to search the computer. This opens the door to big government could be harassing people who just want to make a joke. Or maybe they don't like Trump, let's say, and they want to embarrass him.
No, make fun of him.
Or make fun of him.
I mean, people do that all the time. People do that with Joe Biden. People do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can do Joe Biden.
People did it with Hillary. Like
they did it a lot with Joe Biden. How many times they have that meme where he's falling up the stairs and then down the stairs and then up the stairs and down the stairs? They did that too.
Or Mike Pence in The Fly that was on his head. That was a meme for a while.
That was a meme, but that actually happened. Now, if they make the fly talk, that actually did not happen.
People can realize that flies can't talk.
But if the fly, see, this is what I mean. This is so broad. You can get into sticky situations. So I do not like this bill.
This is insulting people's intelligence. Also,
it is. Yes, I would say that. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you've got a Trump AI video and he's singing something that's not actually him. You know?
And like a picture. So this all started with a picture. Somebody edited a picture of this guy next to Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. And I guess there was wording at the top or something. I'm not sure. This is what I have been told. Okay.
I feel like this kind of just, if there's also like text above it, I don't know what this post was, but if it was just like a statement against him, being like, trying to just say that these two are practically best friends, you know, like they're too close together, you know, in ideals or whatever. I'm not sure what the statement was, but that's kind of skirting against freedom of speech.
It does. It skirts against freedom of speech. And now you have to have a disclaimer. All he's asking is you have to have the disclaimer.
Those disclaimers are
This did not happen in reality.
Anytime I see one of those disclaimers, because they have those on some things now, I'm just like, you think I'm stupid. It just annoys me.
Well, my sources
it's a joke.
My sources tell me that this is not likely to pass in the Senate, but you never know. I've seen in places where people were not happy that they said this was a waste of time, and they wanted to get to work on property taxes and school vouchers and all the other stuff.
This is small
funding,
stuff.
all the really big stuff. This little bill here was a waste of time. And it did not have unanimous support with the Republicans. Specifically, Shelley Luther thought that this was headed down a slippery slope. Because if you pass one thing, you make a little hole, and then you pass another, and it's a domino effect. And it's like, well, we have this. We're just expanding it a little bit to the next thing. And sooner or later, you've got a huge, huge bill that's going to really interfere with your freedom of speech in a big way. This is a little way.
Yeah, I mean,
you can do it, but you have to put the disclaimer.
I know, it's like skirting on the edge, but that's the thing. It's a really fine line. And freedom of speech is supposed to protect the stuff you don't like.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to protect the speech you don't like. And the only way to combat speech you don't like is with speech you do like.
Even if it's untrue,
Yes.
Like, yes, I know there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of lies out there, but people have to be smart enough to not trust everything they see on the internet. I don't trust anything.
Mm-hmm. Thomas Jefferson said, question everything. And that means the internet too. Well, we'll move on from that. If you do not agree with that bill, or heck, maybe you do, reach out to your reps in the Senate and tell them to vote no or yes, depending on your thing. I am a no on that one. And I have a feeling Ruth is too.
Yeah.
So the election. Well, like most things, some people are very happy with the results and some people are very depressed. Today,
well, you have that with every election.
Yes. It was not a good night for the non-establishment crowd in Plano. So Plano politics can be broken down between two sectors, the establishment or the old guard and the young, kind of rebel crowd. Right? And the establishment won overwhelmingly. Not only that, but we have more Democrats now on the city council. That's new. The city council, some would consider it very moderate Republican, now has not one, not two, but 3 Democrats, if you consider Bob Carr a Democrat. It depends on how you label him. So,
I think he's an independent.
Well, I would call him an independent personally. But in Texas, he'd be called a Democrat because the last primary he voted in, which I believe was 2022, he voted in the Democrat primary. So for many, many years, he voted in Republican primaries. And then all of a sudden, he voted in one Democrat primary. Then in 2024, he voted in no primary. He didn't vote in any primary, Democrat or Republican. So I would have to call him an independent, but because the last primary he voted under the Democrat primary, he's considered a Democrat.
I think that's kind of stupid.
I think you need at least 2 2 times, 2 consecutive, to be considered that party, until they maybe have you register finally as one party or another. In Texas, that is a bill that's in the legislature now. Have no idea if it's going to get very far. But anyway, getting to the results. So in place 2, this is Anthony's seat, who I'm going to miss dearly. Bob Kerr won by 55.68% of the vote. Carson and Douglas Reeves got 20 and 23%. So they made up almost 40, they made up 43% together. And Bob is the one that I was just talking about. He's the independent/Democrat. Christine Downs got 54%. So she won that race. John Munz was unopposed. However, he did get some undervotes. People skipped his race, 5,978 to be exact, decided to just skip that race and not vote for him at all. You couldn't write anybody in, so that's kind of the way you protest. Vidal got 53% of the vote, and Hayden got 46%. Then race 5, place 5 surprised me. Gary Carey got 42%, and Steve Levine got 57%. Steve Levine is the other Democrat. So I'm going to say the Republicans are very upset. Their slate, and they had a slate out, lost resoundingly. And Steve Levine and his group had a slate, and they all won. So it's going to be very rocky, I'm predicting. We had 4 candidates on. We wanted to have everybody. And we interviewed them, and they were very gracious. And I was hoping to have everyone on so that they could make their case equally, and everyone was going to have the same questions, and the voters got to decide. The other side decided not to come on. I don't know if that helped or hurt them. I think what helped is the low turnout. If you look at these numbers, about 21,000 people around came out to vote. We have 297, almost 300,000 people live in Plano. Let's say half of them are children. So let's say 150 are adults. Okay? That is an abysmal turnout.
It always is.
And the fact that local elections affect you more than the president, than the governor, than your congressperson.
Yeah, it's really interesting how people during general elections, if their candidate doesn't win, it's the end of the world, and we're all gonna die, and it's all gonna be a catastrophe. But then local elections, it's all blasé and don't care and don't even know who their mayor is, even though that's gonna affect you way more than anything the federal government's gonna do to you.
Every day you leave your house, you drive on city roads, you go to city parks, perhaps you go to the city library. You pay city taxes, property taxes. Your sales tax goes to the city and the state. They control your lives much more. They decide whether or not you have to get a permit for something that you need repaired. They decide whether or not you something is against the law in your town. All the regulations, and look at all the money they give away to large corporations who move in here. Zoning. Zoning changes the face of a town. Anyone who has lived in Plano for more than 10 years can see it. If you've lived in Plano for more than 30 years, you see it. How Plano has changed. And it has changed because we used to be ag, and now we're changing into a high-density city. Plano has become the most dense city in the state of Texas. More dense than Austin and Dallas. That is local.
Yeah, the federal government didn't do that. The state government didn't do that. The local government did that.
They changed the zoning.
You may like it, you may hate it, but either way, it's their control.
Mm-hmm. They made us more dense, more congested. We need more services. We need more police, more fire, which we don't have enough firefighters.
We're running out of water.
We're running out of water. Water is a big thing that locals do. Those that did not come out and vote because they weren't paying attention, which I don't know how you missed an election. The signs were freaking everywhere. And then there's, at the libraries, there's a big sign that says, vote here.
Willful ignorance.
Right. And I say this especially in the case of Steve Levine and Gary Kerry's race. There are still more Republicans than Democrats in Plano. That should have been an easy race for Gary to win. But he lost. His side did not get the message out. Steve Levine's side did a lot better in what I say is working it. He outworked the other side and his group.
Local elections historically have always had the lowest turnout, and it's really sad to see because it doesn't reflect, because then whoever gets picked doesn't reflect the residents.
Yeah. You have 21,000 people deciding for almost 300,000 residents. That's not fair.
That's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how it was built to work anyway.
Not at all. Apathy is a real thing, and I don't understand it. And I'll tell you this, folks. I have looked into the winners. We don't endorse here. But afterwards, it's another story. Okay?
She's going to let it all out.
I can tell you from what I saw, from what they were saying, and they were saying not a whole lot.
Probably strategically so.
Yes. We are going to have a higher tax bill come next year. The budget's going to be bigger. And this group, my prediction, they're going to do whatever the city manager and the staff wants.
I don't understand how you would run to be on city council and then just let other people tell you what to do. What was the point of you running? Why did you want this position?
people do that who are sitting on council now. They're a rubber stamp.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm also talking about them too.
Yeah, they say we should trust our staff. They know better. Why? Again,
Well, why did you
trust
run?
no one. Question everything.
Like, why did you run then?
Mm-hmm. And, the staff could be right. Maybe they are right. I'm not saying that they're wrong all the time. What I am saying is that the city council is the people who hold the purse. They must guard it because that's our money.
And because because the city council is the ones that are voted, the staff is not voted in.
City manager is not voted in.
The council is then the voice of the people that is supposed to either agree or disagree with what the staff says. Not just be yes men.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that anybody who voted for the other side is now going to be represented? I don't think so. Not with this crew.
No, it's completely one-sided.
I know folks who email city council. The only ones who respond were Anthony and Shelby. That's it. No one else. And I've heard this from multiple people. Oh, Anthony and Shelby got back to me. No one else did. Well, first of all, that's wrong.
Well, okay, devil's advocate here. We don't know how these guys are going to operate. We don't know if they might answer people. We don't know yet.
Well,
give them a chance. Being a bit of negative.
I can tell you Steve Levine ain't taking my phone calls.
Well.
He is for public-private partnerships. He is going to be for more economic development. He wants the arts center, the visual arts center that we talked about. Mm-hmm. And I said he wanted that $5 million for it. He is going to push that hard. And so is Downs now, and so is Homer. They're going to push for that art center and want to build a new one when we've got 4 public schools that are going to be sitting empty. And he's going to want the city to pay for it. That is a non-starter here for me. That is a waste of taxpayer money. Do it privately. I'm not hopeful.
Clearly not.
Prove me wrong, please. Please prove me wrong. I challenge you to prove me wrong. Maybe you will speak to your constituents that didn't vote for you. And believe me, they know who didn't support them. Because most people with R's after their name. And this is also a bad record for the Republican Party of Collin County because no one who got endorsed won. Republican Collin County used to never endorse.
Yeah, that's bad luck for them.
They started endorsing in local elections, even when there were 2 Republicans competing against each other. And in this race, not a one of these folks that they endorsed won in Plano.
Yeah, that's bad for them.
That is very bad for them. That is a bad sign for that party. The Democrats are very happy.
Well, yeah.
Because all their folks that they endorsed won.
All down the slate.
Yeah. So, but again, I challenge you. I challenge you to prove me wrong. Not to raise our taxes, to be good fiscal conservatives with our money. Guard our money. Ask questions. Do not take anybody's word for it. Question everything. Because if you don't, then you're going to prove me right, if they're even listening.
Probably not. I'm very pessimistic on that.
Yes, probably not. But if you are, I challenge you, prove me wrong. Right now, I'm not hopeful. Good news is, hopefully, these 2 years go by real quick. Well, I have good news. Spot was finally adopted.
Yay!
So that means we have a new VID of the week.
You always forget to put VID. You always put VIP.
I put VIP. Yes, I do. And I have to change it to D. Okay. Very important dog. Well, our new very important dog is named Gemma. Gemma is a friendly dog who is about 3 years of age. She's very sweet and so playful too. Gemma will make a great companion for you. She was never claimed by her owner and wants a new home. She is an affectionate dog too, and she is at the Plano Animal Shelter. So if you are interested in Gemma, please go to our website, planospoliticalpitbull.com, and click on the link, Pit Bulls Up for Adoption, and you can see all about Gemma. She's a very cute dog. It's got very nice pictures.
Sounds very sweet too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have some other good news. We have finally figured out Rumble.
Yay!
We are on Rumble. So if you go to our website now, we will have a link to Rumble for each episode.
I helped her with that.
She did. I was having problems. I could not figure this out. But we figured it out thanks to Ruth over here. So we are now on Rumble for those who prefer Rumble. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And also comment. It helps us with those algorithms, folks. That is all the time we have for today. This is Esther.
And this is Ruth.
For Plano's Political Pitbull, signing off.